Hi, my name is Rich Eiler, and I'm with the North Point Group. Today I'm going to provide an overview of a product called Key Metrics for Success, KMS for short, that is used to 1. Optimize the performance of an enterprise, 2. Perform a more detailed functional analysis of risks and value opportunities in the finance, research and development, and sales and marketing areas, and 3. The product is used to identify key metrics to be used in business intelligence projects. The KMS software was originally developed to answer a challenging question for C-level executives. How well is our business performing? Based on North Point research and use of the product, we have learned that companies on average measure or attempt to measure between 600 and 1,200 performance indicators. Many performance indicators are incomplete, not applicable to the enterprise holistically, or siloed in their definition and execution. Less than 7% of all enterprises perform to best-in-class levels because, on average, nearly 50% of their fundamental business activities are not measured or are incomplete. Most enterprises are missing from 25 to 37% of the critical performance-centered knowledge required to be effective, efficient, and resilient. Unfortunately for organizations, expenditures on business intelligence tools and the implementation of additional key performance indicators continues with limited success. What we have learned is that these random acts of improvement do not yield sustained levels of success. Sustained operational and financial success can only be achieved when all of the fundamental business activities are identified, aligned with the business strategy, and then optimized. Fundamental business activities are what is used to run the organization and represents its intended business processes. Every organization has core processes fundamental to its operations. Question is, are they effective, efficient, and provide the necessary speed and accuracy for decision making? North Point has identified through research and experience the 105 fundamental business activities that holistically cover all areas of business performance. Each FBA is weighted. This weighting enables the accuracy of the North Point metrics as to its impact on the value and risk aligned with the business strategy that enable executives to answer the following questions with speed and accuracy. How effectively and efficiently is the business performing? What are the areas of risk and opportunity that require immediate attention? How do we compare to best in class? And finally, how do we optimize operational and financial performance? So let's look back at some history to put this discussion into perspective. About 30 years ago, a book was written by Tom Peters and others titled In Search of Excellence. In that book, companies were identified as superior performers. Some of those companies included Data General, Kmart, Wang Labs, Delta Airlines, Digital Equipment, etc. What do these companies have in common today? They have either vanished, are in bankruptcy, or in deep trouble. Let me provide another historical perspective. Of the original S&P 500 companies identified in 1957, how many exist today? Less than 15%. The takeaway, just because you are or have been successful doesn't mean you can sustain that success. Our research concludes that successful companies become risk adverse and haven't been able to integrate enterprise performance management with risk management. This is core of KMS. KMS assesses the organization's capabilities, including what we call KEP, K-E-P, knowledge, experience, and performance to achieve peak performance. The KMS solution covers 65 areas of an enterprise, from strategy to IT to value propositions in a target market. So the solution is extremely comprehensive. So what is KMS's impact? Based on over 125 assessments, you can see the significant improvements to revenue, costs, and EBITDA. The software is architected to be prescriptive and predictive, identifying how, where, and how much can the performance of the enterprise be improved. Examples include expected ROI to improve to best in class. Revenues are 61.41% of what they could be, and the revenue forecast will fall short of plan by 13.95 to 18.12%. Predictive. The software is used to identify and measure the gaps in required knowledge and identifies the process to acquire the knowledge. In addition, the process has demonstrated a 35 to 40% reduction in time to completion, time to market, and time to profitability. So how does the process work? Step 1, the value risk assessment session. It's a facilitated session with key stakeholders that typically takes less than a day. In this session, the participants, the key stakeholders, analyze and score statements comprised of the fundamental business activities as well as the supporting what we call steps, tasks, and processes. The statements are actually scored twice. What's the current status and what is the enterprise's need? This process drives stakeholder alignment through the facilitator-led consensus-based scoring for each of the fundamental business activities and steps, tasks, and processes. In addition, key discussion points and issues are captured. This is followed by the actual comparison of the scored statements to the best-in-class database. That is followed by the value risk solution session. Once again, it's a facilitated session with key stakeholders that takes less than a day to develop the action plan and solution or solutions from the assessment results. The collaborative methodology used provides for deep understanding of the participants, buy-in, and follow-through across the organization. The software and database outputs include speed indices such as knowledge, experience, and performance, financial achievement, customer connectivity, business financial knowledge, market, customer, and new buyer knowledge, and missing critical knowledge, R&D productivity, IT opportunities, as in information technology, cost improvement opportunities, expected achievable return on investment, business model improvement, accuracy indices such as accuracy of the required critical knowledge, accuracy of the industry knowledge, accuracy of the critical forecasts, revenues, market, cash, and finally accuracy of customer view of the products and services. Those are all part of Step 2. Step 3 is the actual execution and monitoring of the value risk management mitigation plan as the process is repeatable. I can run this, once again, less than a day, and I can run it 90 to 120 days later. Where have we improved and where are more opportunities for improvement? So you can see from the overview that the key metrics for success process is quick, comprehensive, accurate due to the analytics, enables organizational buy-in, is predictive and prescriptive, and creates the roadmap for improvement based on financial impact, and once again, is repeatable. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, please visit the North Point website, www.thenorthpointgroup.net, where a number of our associates are identified as contact points. Thank you very much.